Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Winpe Ignite PEVC Career Talk series. For those of you who don't know us, Winpe is a pioneering not-for-profit platform driving gender diversity in the investing ecosystem by increasing women's participation as investors, capital allocators, and recipients of investment capital. We work closely with PEVC firms in helping them shape and execute on DEI strategies, including hiring more women across roles and levels. When we launched in 2020 and we heard our member PEVC firms saying we want to hire more women but we can't find them, we were skeptical because we thought there were enough women keen on PEVC careers. Now, in the last more than 4 years, Winpe has undertaken a number of initiatives aimed at supporting PEVC aspirants, including job bulletins, AMAs with industry leaders, boot camps with recruiters, and career fairs. Through these initiatives, we also have come to realize that the talent pipeline of women in the PVC industry is much thinner than we would have thought, and for various reasons. Now, Ignite by Winpe is a platform designed to support the female talent pipeline in the PVC industry. Ignite offers online career sessions, masterclasses, job vacancy information, and a profile bank of women interested in PVC roles accessible to all our member firms in an anonymized format. So when PVC firms hire, they can access our profile repository for candidates. The profile bank is open to women at all levels, including those already in PVC. And as I said before, we hide the candidate and firm names in the database that is shared with the hiring firms. Please join the Winpe Ignite Career Network WhatsApp group to join our profile repository. This WhatsApp group will also keep you updated on all our sessions and with the information on job openings, which we keep posting there once in a while. Moving on to today. Our topic for today is Decoding Culture Fit. At the end of today's session, we will run a lucky draw where selected individuals and participants will be invited to email us your CV maximum by the evening of the session 2, which is next week, Saturday. This gives you time to refine your resumes based on insights from the second session, which will be on creating amazing resumes. These CVs will also be shared with the panelists for feedback. And at the end of session 2, two participants will also be selected for a live mock interview, which will be conducted at session 3. But CV feedback and mock interview participation is only available to those who attend all the 3 sessions. So make sure you attend all the 3 sessions to get feedback on your CVs. Now introducing our speakers for today. Charu Gulati, she is the CHRO at Everstone Group. Charu Gulati is the Chief Human Resources Officer, CHRO at Everstone Group India, where she plays a pivotal strategic and operational role in aligning the firm's talent agenda with its investment objectives. She leads human capital initiatives across firm and its portfolio companies, focusing on leadership assessment, organizational design, succession planning, and culture building. Before joining Everstone, Charu served as Director of Human Resources at IDFC Bank, where she was responsible for HR strategy and execution across both retail and wholesale banking operations. Earlier in her career, she spent over 15 years at Genpact, where she held leadership roles in operations and HR, managing finance and accounting offshore businesses across a diverse range of industries. Meghna Bansal, she's a vice president at Chris Capital. Meghna joined Chris Capital in November 2023 and was previously the co-founder of a startup. Prior to that, she received an MBA from Harvard Business School and has worked at Warburg Pincus and Boston Consulting Group as well. Meghna received a bachelor's degree in computer science engineering from BITS Pilani and graduated as the university silver medalist. Our third speaker for today is Poonam Puri. She is a Senior Human Resources Advisor, Asia Pacific at Lakes, formerly known as CDPQ. Poonam Puri is a seasoned senior human resources professional currently serving as Senior HR Advisor Asia Pacific at Lakes, formerly CDPQ. She brings valuable experience from previous roles at Bharti Del Monte and Bank of America. A symbiosis management school graduate, her expertise spans talent acquisition and management, leadership development, diversity, and culture, making her a well rounded professional in the HR domain. Now, just before we start, some housekeeping rules. The session is being recorded and an edited version of the recording will be made available for future reference. You can type your questions anytime during the session on the chat box. We will pick them up at the end of the session. Now, without further delay, let's get started. I would like to start by asking each speaker what culture and culture fit actually mean to you, particularly in terms of hiring and in the context of the PEVC private equity and venture capital industry. Who wants to go first? Maybe Charu?
Okay. Thanks, Ankita. Thanks, the Winpe group. Thanks for the participants to make time on a Saturday. Appreciate everybody listening in. I don't think we are any Gyan gurus on culture. I think it's each to its own. But, keeping in context the PVC firm in particular, I don't think there is any set culture that the PVC would bring in versus what any organization would not want to have in its employees. Culture is nothing but your own values, your beliefs, your goals, your vision and mission of yours matching with the organization in a manner that it just causes maximum returns in the way we are operating for individuals and for the organization. In my view, as long as you bring in the right elements that partner with the ethos of the organization, anybody and everybody is a right fit to some organization or the other and will make good as long as there is harmony in the way we are operating and building ourselves. That's my view.
I can go next. Hi, everyone, and thank you, Winpe, for giving this opportunity to share our views with the larger audience. Thank you, audience, for being a part of this panel today. So, culture fit to me is it's a huge part of a successful hiring process, and in PEVC firms, we particularly find it as a big driving force in every hiring that we do. So we always look for candidates who are, who conform and adapt to the core values and their collective behaviors make up the businesses. And, we look for diverse and unique candidates who are really right, who have the right cultural adaptability and personality traits. So the ones who really their values and beliefs, as Charu also pointed, align with the fund or portfolio company's culture. It's a harder task in a way, but in a way it is not that hard because we find individuals who have behaviors and who have values that align with the culture that we have at CDPQ or any other VC fund that we talk about. Thank you. That's from my side.
And thanks, thanks, Poonam. So yeah, maybe I can go next. See, I think the difference between a PEVC firm and maybe any other organization is that these typically tend to be very small teams. Most the largest investing team that you would see across the country in different funds could be as large as 20-25 people. And the smallest could be 5 people. So, compared to, a Google, Microsoft, or, any other organization which has hundreds of thousands of people, where culture needs to be something that is defined at an organization level. Typically, that is not the case in a PEVC firm, which just are usually very small and hence very individual and team driven, as opposed to driven at an organization level. Now, what that means is it is actually very easy to figure out what is the culture of the team simply by meeting, a small percentage or of people within the organization. So if you meet 5 people in a particular team, you will see some common characteristics that those individuals have. and that perhaps mostly defines the culture that the organization brings. So I think so it's very difficult to kind of describe the culture of a firm. And if a team, let's say in many PVC firms, the entire team also changes. Sometimes they may hire a new leadership, and the culture could change overnight as well. So I think that the easiest way to sort of figure out about the culture of an organization is to meet the people there. It's perhaps the simplest thing to diligence in a PVC firm compared to any other organization. And I think one thing I would tell everyone is that there are things that people say and then there are actions. So for instance, if you look at DEI, the easiest way of knowing whether an organization really adheres to is to actually see how many women are a part of that organization. Where we are very proud at Risk Capital because and we are trying to move this across layers, but beyond the partner layer, every single layer has more than 50% women today. And that's something that is beyond any metric in the industry. So we certainly feel proud of that. And then hence you can see that the culture that has been set up is conducive for all sorts of individuals to be a part of the organization. And honestly, we have such an open culture that we have given this feedback that why is the senior leadership not encompassing more women? And so the culture allows for you to even say something like that within the team. So I think there are actions that organizations take which are more representative of the culture also. So for instance, if you were to go and meet a fund or meet a team where you don't see diversity, or where you don't see certain actions, then even if the party line, for instance, could be that we care about this, I would just take that with a pinch of salt. So I think the other thing to sort of understand is what is the organization's DNA and have they really actioned upon certain things. So I think cultural code for a PEVC firm is team driven, and you can look at the makeup and structure of different teams to figure out what are the things they care about. And when you talk to 4 or 5 people and understand their personality traits, that probably is the personality of the organization as well. So that's my perspective on this topic.
That's really intriguing. Thank you. So this one is for Poonam. When we talk about, say, hiring, so what are the ways a candidate can assess the culture of a PVC firm during, interviews and networking in a way to prepare themselves? So, what are the questions that probably they should ask to uncover what the real culture of a firm is? So, they are prepared while when they network with the specific group of people, and also to prepare themselves for interviews and hiring and during all the hiring processes.
Yeah, so thank you, Ankita. I think now the traditional process of interviews has actually changed into much, networking and talk-driven interviews, where you interact a lot with the hiring team, not just with the hiring manager, but with the entire team. And given that private equity and VC have very lean structures, you get a chance to actually speak to everyone in the hiring process. It is added to multiple rounds of interviews, but it is very beneficial for a candidate to interact and ask a lot of questions to understand how the business is run and what culture is being followed and nurtured, or how current employees are thriving and really willing to contribute to the business, and really working hard for hours. As you know, when live deals are there, you have to contribute so much. So I think in the interview process, one has to really be focusing on firms' history, values, how the headquarters are, where are they based, what do they do, what kind of DEI practices firm does, what kind of investment strategies they do, what are the practices for deal sourcing? How do they do due diligence? How are the portfolio companies managed? What are the, percentages of women at every level in the organization, or even, minor ethnicity or different and diverse backgrounds are being, taken care of in the organization, not just from a hiring perspective, but how do they included in the business. So inclusion is a very important part. So candidates can understand firms' approach by talking to people from various different levels and understand. So they can ask, how do you define your diversity strategy? How do you define your ESG practices? What are your tax practices? How do you manage portfolio companies? What are when women are hired, what policies do you have? What are the what is that firm does for work-life balance? How is the wellness taken care of? And then what is driven from the headquarters that every office across the globe follows. So those practices are inherited, and they are very very permanent and not just temporary to attract the candidates. You can also go to their social media, like their website, LinkedIn page, to see the current articles on the events which are related to employee welfare, companies, deals. How are they portrayed in the newspapers? How are the senior leaders what messaging they do in their interviews? What are the key messages given by the CEO in articles? So and then also you can derive various perspectives out of all these sources while you're doing that long interview process, because now interview process are not just 1 or 2 meetings. As I said, it's a long process. So one can really gauge that knowledge and understand the decision-making process, the different perspectives, employees from like senior to junior level, how they are, attached to deals. As I said, ESG practices. So everything is like interrelated. So you have lots of questions and subjects to understand when you're really, in an interview, to find that this is the place where I want to be, So that's from my side. Thank you.
Ankita, if I may just add, adding to what Poonam and Meghna just articulated, it's a very small industry, PEVC, and generally you see people with aspirations of wanting to be a part of this industry are very smart and bright. So they are very well aware of doing people diligences before joining an organization. In fact, I've come across people wherein they say, I only want to work with this partner. Is there an opportunity available? So that's the kind of awareness I see that people who are aspiring to be in this industry are generally coming with. And to add to the point that Poonam made, the conversation is so open and transparent because it's a lean industry. So if there are only 10 or 15 people in the entire organization and you want to really be associated with an organization for a longer period of time, it's important to know who you're going to be working with, what kind of deals with sector, and you want to really make your career grow within the same organization. And therefore, it's very conversational. I wouldn't call it an interview anymore. Actually, it's conversational, it's interaction, and both parties are assessing each other on whether it's really making sense or not.
Yeah, and moreover, as you said, Charu, it's so transparent that if you're talking to one person, you can get the info which is not really true or misrepresented. But when you're talking to so many people and their networks, so everything is on social media. So there's nothing that you can't find about even if somebody is fired from an organization, you would know the right reasons, if not soon, but not sooner, but later, what happened. So that really talks about how how they operate and the business is done. Yeah.
Some very important questions that I think the candidates must really keep in mind. I hope everyone's jotting the questions down. Some Good ones. So this was from a candidate point of view, how they can prepare themselves and ask the right questions, right? Now, from a firm point of view, so say how much weightage does a firm give while hiring to say a culture fit, you know, say during recruitment versus skills or credentials, so, say when we simply want to hire, so is it the case that the firm simply would want to hire carbon copies of the existing employees that's already there? Or, someone who would always say yes, ma'am, and yes, ma'am, yes, sir. Or, how much, or maybe more like credentials, skills, and open to having different opinions. This would be for all the speakers or anyone who would want to take it.
I can go first. That's fine. Ankita, you've actually answered the question. We are neither looking for yes mans, no mans. We are neither looking for building clones. I don't think any organization want to just build clones or robots in this world of AI, especially. But there's a base level understanding and bare minimum that you need in a person, anyways, when he or she is aspiring to be in this industry. We know that it's long hours. We know that when it's a live deal going on, there's a lot of pressure. We know that when you are investing in a particular sector, what nuances the sector brings into you. We know how everybody in the team will behave or will have to work with each other when there's a live deal. There is no sense of insecurity at that point in time that bothers anybody, because it's one mission, one goal. While everybody will have their individualities, and that's what will form the right complementary team to be able to have a successful deal at the end of the day, whether it's investing in a company or exiting out of the company. And then there's a period in between, which is, in my view, the toughest period, because you're managing a portfolio which has to make money for you at the end of the day. So I think it's a combination of many things. It's like, how, and I may just sound very philosophical right now, it's like how families operate. All kids are similar to how their parents have been, because there is a certain culture of the family that sort of binds them together, but they're all very different individuals on how they operate, and which is why you have agreements and disagreements, but you all still live together, because that's the way of harmoniously taking the family forward. It's exactly the same way of how you take the family of a particular sector forward in a particular organization, because it's one mission, one goal. But um, I don't, or I can't count a single PEVC that I know of wherein they will say, no, this person is not talking the way I talk, and therefore I'm not going to hire this person. You want to bring in a fresh pair of thoughts, ideas, to disrupt your system, to be able to complement and then take it to the leaps and bounds. I mean, we invest in portfolio companies wherein we expect them to have 4x, 5x returns. We expect the same for the fund as well. The fund also wants to grow leaps and frogs to make those that much return, and therefore different ideas, different sets of traits, personalities, thoughts are needed to sometimes disrupt your own culture. That's what I would say.
No, thanks, Charu. Maybe I can go next. See, I personally think that cultural fit is very important, and it gets more and more important as you get more senior. So maybe, at an analyst level, or maybe, at when you're first joining the industry, the skills aspect, maybe one would weight high. But even so, I think given the demand supply dynamics, there would be a lot of people fighting for the same position. We'll typically find, a set of candidates that meet the skill bar, and it's not like there'll be only one person. There would be handful of people who meet that bar. So after that, then what ends up matching, of course, is the cultural fit. It's a very soft aspect. It can be frustrating also, because obviously when someone is applying and they have all the right skills, and then someone else gets the job over them, That's not a subjective reason for why that may be the case, and it could be the reason for it would be, a better fit that the other person may bring. And I certainly would have interviewed in the past where, it goes to the end and it's between two people, and the other person could be a better fit for that organization, and that's why they are chosen. And being on the other side could be frustrating, but now having been and having spent more time in the industry, I can say I understand why it happens that way. It's because, like I said, it's a small industry. Typically, you'll end up working with only one or two people for a long period of time. So I think the working relationship that you would have with that person is very important to the success of the team, the organization, the sector, and the longevity that you will have. So, compared to a different firm, giving the example of Google, if you don't fit into a specific team, they could move you to another team, and maybe you'll gel better with a different manager or a different team culture. But in a PE ecosystem or VC ecosystem, that luxury doesn't exist. You're typically hired for a specific team, for a specific partner, and the working relationship that you would have with that person is as important to the success of you and them, as anything else. And while skills are very important, and of course, without that baseline, no one would hire you. I think having the ability to build a good working relationship with them over a period of time is also as important. And hence, that cultural element comes in, which really comes down to the work ethic of those individuals, and whether you would bring the same kind of work ethic or not. And unfortunately or fortunately, that ends up being a little bit of a subjective matter. And the more you grow in your career, the more your skills normalize and everyone kind of brings the same set of skills, and then the cultural element starts mattering even more. So I think it depends on at what level you are in your career. But I think it matters for sure at all levels. It is like an unsaid thing, so it's difficult to understand perhaps what it entails. And it sometimes could be as simple as, someone likes or feels like they could work with a specific person better. And that could bring frustration, and I certainly may have been on both sides, right, of being liked and not liked. But I think that's just like a nuance that exists in the industry. So that's my like blunt perspective on the importance of it.
Okay, so thank you, Meghna. I think you and Charu have covered most of what I wanted to share also. But it is, every firm has its different perspective on getting diverse talent. So diversity also, as we are all women here, but it's not only women hiring. It's hiring from different backgrounds, even males from different backgrounds, then different nationalities, different age, but analysts and associates can be of similar age, but then as they grow levels, we sometimes bring in 5 years younger or 5 years older in the same age group, but we don't really stick to the age. So if I talk about, I'll give you the example of how we are at CDPQ. We are small in India, basically in India, in Asia Pacific, we are just 100 people, including interns, like 8, 9 interns. Very small in India, 17, 18 people, 61 in Singapore and 15 in Sydney. So in each office, we made sure we have a blend of everything that we could get. So really diverse and unique talent, that is our idea. With functional traits and skill set, we really focus on the best fit in terms of their behavior, as I said earlier, their values, how they conduct themselves, what kind of questions do they ask, what is their communication style. Each of them have different style. So let's say for Singapore office, we have multi nationalities working under one roof. We have EPs, employment pass. We are actually at every time at the highest threshold of our quota, but we never give up. We kind of hire multinationality people, give them a chance to work with us. Then, you just imagine that Europeans to Singaporeans to Malaysians to Thai, French Canadians working under one roof, how engaging the environment becomes when you get different perspectives from different people at different levels. So that's our most engaged office and one of the best workplaces for years and years together, and top 20 workplaces in Asia. In India, we made sure we don't have working rights flexibility. Everybody should have working rights. They should be Indians, otherwise you get into lots of paperwork. We made sure that out of our 17-18 workforce, 50% are women, and then rest of 50% obviously are male, and we are looking at other diversities also. And then we made sure that we have different nationalities in the office. So we have every nationality, from Jains to Islam to Christians to Hindus. So that's how we, became a good office again here. And in Sydney, again, people can work on work holiday visa. So we hired various nationalities in Sydney, men and women, of different skill set coming in from countries like Paris, UK, then other European countries. So even Canada, for that matter. So we actually thought that diversity only doesn't sit, or getting a right culture fit, what we are discussing today, doesn't sit with only getting a highly skillful workforce. Even if we don't compromise generally, but even if we compromise a bit, then you have a very unique person who brings really different ideas when it comes to deal sourcing, when it comes to engaging with the team. He's a one person is a real team player in the whole office. He creates a vibe, so very, very different culture fits that we kind of try to bring in. So we look at everything under the sun to make that right candidate come and join us. So, thank you.
Thank you, Poonam. Thank you, Charu, and thank you, Meghna. Just a reminder to the participants, we are also open to questions. So if you have any questions, you can keep posting them on the chat box and we'll take it as and when. Now, this one is for Meghna. Have you ever kind of, experienced a mismatch in culture yourself? Say, and if yes, then how did you navigate it?
No, I'm happy to answer that, Ankita. And by the way, I think the chat may be disabled, or that's what I'm seeing at my end. So maybe we can open it.
I'll look into it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Meghna.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I wouldn't say a mismatch, but certainly I think I've been a part of 2-3 different organizations, and some I have felt are a better fit for me, and some I have felt are not that good a fit. Ultimately, I think you can do things to change the culture as well. And you can give feedback. You can find other individuals within the organization who align with your mindset, and try to drive the change from there. You can bring your personality to work and see if that opens up other people as well. Sometimes there are certain norms, but you need a few people who break the norm, and make the workplace a better ecosystem for everyone. So I think there are many things that you could do, but ultimately I think long-term success is difficult in an organization if the cultural fit ultimately doesn't come through, and that's evident on both sides. And so you can change things. You can also try to mold yourself if you feel very strongly about staying within the organization. But I wouldn't paint a rosy picture to say that if the fit is not there, and you can't mold yourself, and the organization also wouldn't make meaningful strides to align to what you want. I don't know if that is a good recipe for long-term success. So in that case, you perhaps have to find something that is a better fit for you. But certainly, I think, like I said, there are things giving feedback about what is it that, doesn't suit you, um, being yourself and seeing if others are receptive to that, finding like-minded individuals within the organization, your set of people that may have a different bent on the cultural element than others. So I think those are things you could try. But maybe just to give an example of Chris Capital, I mean, I obviously I love it here, and I think the cultural fit is one big part of it. And our culture is, if I had to describe it, very open, no egos, everyone speaks their mind, from the junior most person to the senior most person. We could have arguments with each other, but no one takes it to their heart. So the next day, it's not like it leads to any ego wars. And everyone is, still the same. Very high sense of camaraderie, lot of, entrepreneurialness and people trying to do new things, and that's well received in general within the organization. So I think those are things which I like and that suit to my, cultural alignment. If, say, I was in an organization which did not allow that, where people were afraid to speak their mind or, things like that, then perhaps I would have over a long period of time found it difficult to stay within that team. Here, there are things which I really like about the culture. And having said that, there are things which I don't like as well. The things which I don't like, if I feel super strong about, I raise my voice and talk about it. If there are things which I feel that they're not so important in the grand scheme of things, even though they may, be something that I don't align with personally, I let them go. So I think you have to keep taking a call around what's really important to you, and whether it's worth fighting the battle or not. But certainly there have been battles that I felt that they were worth fighting. And even the reception that the organization has to people speaking their mind about what they feel could be changed for the better is an important cultural element within the organization. So we certainly do that, or try to do that here within Chris Capital. At least everyone speaks their mind now. Sometimes it's accepted, sometimes it's not, but that itself being heard is an important factor. So I think I ultimately do feel that being in an organization which doesn't fit with your culture is a long-term success challenge. There are things you can do to change it and see how you feel about it. But eventually, on the other side, if you find something which is a really good fit for you, I think then being successful in that ecosystem is much easier, and much less friction, and the day-to-day is much better. So I think the success you may get from finding a really good fit can be exponentially more than being in a place which you don't think fits for you and fighting those, battles with yourself or with the organization every day. So that's my perspective.
Thank you, Meghna. I think very well put, and it's a very important part of working with your team. Now, this question. So it's more like do you think that how can firms ensure they don't let culture fit become an excuse for diversity? So in a way that how can candidates who come from non-traditional backgrounds still position themselves as a good fit?
Yeah, I
Would
can do that. Yeah, I think it was marked against my name, but I'm also reading the questions on the chat, and I think there are a couple of them like that, right? Like, I think Pratiti wrote that PE firms often emphasize being fast-paced and high performance. For a woman enter the industry, how can she distinguish between a performance-driven culture and one that's actually exclusionary or unsupportive? And what are the red flags? Um, See, I think there are a bunch of questions around this. There's no getting away from this. This is I would say, a high performance industry. Why? Because you're managing billions of dollars. You're making investing decisions where, depending on your firm, you're investing hundreds of millions of dollars into a company. You have LPs that you need to give and show returns to. And there is a 5-year window to deliver all this, or 3-year window, whatever, to deliver all this. So it's a very short period of time to deliver, compared to maybe another industry where people may look at performance over a much longer period of time. So there are some inherent reasons that the work culture is the way it is, and I don't think there's any way around that. And if someone does not want to be in a high performance or high work pressure kind of an environment, then maybe it is not a good fit for them in general. So I wouldn't say that there are funds which would be contrary. I think every fund would have that performance culture, and there are high pressure situations for sure. Deal timelines now are like shrinking. Earlier deals would happen over 3 to 6 months. Now deals are happening within 4 weeks. So if you have to invest like $1 billion or whatever over 4 weeks, you can expect that there is some sort of pressure. So it's not artificially being created. It is the way the industry works. So I think knowing and recognizing whether that is something that you want to do, is the step one. And I don't think any firm will have it different way. I think what can be different across firms is the way, people handle pressure, individuals as well as the organization. And that's just something that you either learn over time or you pick it up. For instance, if you're not well, or if you're exhausted, at least here we will take the day off, no matter how high pressure the situation is, or someone will cover for you, and that will not have a long-term impact on your performance, on how it is perceived. So there's a team culture in a way, I would say, where people are willing to pick up the ball for others or step in and support their colleagues when things get into that situation. And that camaraderie then creates more space for, you to manage your work life, or even, manage high pressure situations. I think in a different organization where it's maybe a more individual culture, people are more at odds with each other, maybe your colleagues will not step in to support you. So I think there are nuances around how an organization, an investing organization, manages the environment. The environment is the same. I think we, at least at Risk Capital, I can say for sure, we have a more team culture. So I know for a fact that if I have a personal situation, or if I am not keeping well or anything like that, there are many people within the team I can lean on to support me in the time that I'm not up, and vice versa, right? I would step in and support others as well where I'm able to. So that helps ease the pressure a little bit within our organization, at least. Whereas maybe in a different organization where, everyone has that mindset that, you do your own work, your own deal, your own sector, that maybe, creates an environment that's difficult to manage. So net, I think when you meet an organization, you can ask about this, that, how do you handle high pressure situations, or what happens if, someone is not keeping well or has a family emergency when they are in a deal, how would the organization handle that? And you will learn about how, and for every team that must have happened at some point, and the reaction or the the way the organization supports it is perhaps the answer to whether there are red flags, or whether they have created an environment to support that. But that doesn't take away from the fact that, except for these exigencies that may happen, which you want support during, in the day-to-day, if it's like a deal situation or something which requires your urgent attention, it's outcome driven, you have to put in the time, effort, energy, give it your best, and that high performance culture will remain. So I don't know, hopefully that answers the question, but that's kind of how it works.
It's from Mitali. She says, given that most PEVC roles are concentrated in Mumbai, while professionals from cities like Delhi NCR often bring different networks and different working cultures, right? So, how much weight does geographical presence or relocation flexibility carry in assessing culture fit within the firms? A little bit, I think, similar to what you current
Yeah,
said,
we
but
have firms in Delhi, so I think for us, that's. But yeah, I think typically, if again, small teams, I think remote work is not that simple. So you would have to kind of relocate to wherever the office is. There are 4 cities: Mumbai, Bangalore, Delhi, actually maybe 3, where PEVC ecosystem exists. So yeah, I don't know how to
I
address
just want
it.
to add to what Meghna is saying, actually.
Yeah.
While, Meghna's done a beautiful job of articulating the culture of private equity as such, and I think it's true for all PEVC firms that exist. It is high performing. I think, in my view, candidates, whoever want to build a career in PVC, are very, very well aware of the industry and the pressure and the issues and the good things that it comes around with. But specific to this cultural nuance, as long as you are aspirational, as long as you are clear, it's going to be high performance driven culture. As long as you know that network plays a very important role, as long as you know it's a lean team and you have to get along for your own sanity and wisdom, as long as you know that there are dull moments, as long as you know you're carrying the load of billions of dollars, I don't think any other cultural difference really matters. You can belong to Delhi or Indore or Punjab or Ludhiana or wherever. I just don't want to name all 26 states, but it just doesn't matter, because it's the ingredients that you have as a personality that will make you a successful investment professional, and it'll help you grow in your career. If I was to talk about Everstone, I don't have the right data with me as of now, but if I remember correctly, more than 50% of the people does not belong to Mumbai. I relocated from Delhi to Mumbai myself. Came into this world to manage HR, which is also very different from other industries. But it's your call. There are many organizations that have offices across, but since there are leaner teams, it's best to be at a place where the maximum population sits. Uh, because you'll automatically start to feel not inclusive if you're not really with the team. And that's a personal choice then you'll have to make.
I'm sorry, Charu, I think I missed answering and it's a very good and very important question. Like, how can firms ensure that cultural fit does not become an excuse for lack of diversity? Um, I think it's by bringing diversity. So there is no other way around it. And I think the first 5, or let's say there is a number, 40%, 50%, whatever, they have to build a funnel out and hire people, bring them into the team, create a culture where they are feeling accepted, they are feeling supported, they are feeling like they're part of the team. So they have to put in all that effort, and then it's a self-propagating cycle, because once you have enough diversity within the organization, enough voices, automatically the culture resets to one that supports others to join as well. But I think the first few hires, they have to make them. I think they have to expand their funnel. By the way, that narrative that someone got hired because they're a woman is also not good for women. So
Yep.
they have to make sure they don't, like, I see a lot of posts on LinkedIn marketing roles as diversity hires. I think that is the worst thing for diversity. So I certainly reach out to those recruiting firms and say you should change the way this post. It may be not even for my firm, but if your funnel has 50% women, 50% men, at least enough firms have had success with hiring women that I would find it difficult to believe that you do not find one women candidate also that fits the bill. And there maybe you take a compromise on the cultural element. If it's mostly a male driven culture, perhaps they may not feel as comfortable with a woman joining as a man. So there the organization steps in and takes the call that no, and assuming the skill bar is met, and the team over time adjusts their culture so that new voices and new types of people can feel comfortable. So yeah, I think it's a forceful thing they have to do initially, if because people will always be in their comfort zone. And there is a tendency to want to hire people like yourself. There's no doubt about that. More so in the, male-driven cultures. And then the organization steps in. But I think once there is a critical mass of diversity, then automatically things start moving in the right direction. So yeah, I think the firms have to take like a hard call around it.
I want to share a personal experience here. In my 8 years of being with Everstone, I haven't come across a single hiring manager who's come back to me saying, give me more women's CVs or men's CVs for a role in the investments team. They've always just described what kind of talent do they want. And that's exactly how we approach talent in the market. I don't think anyone wears a biased or an unbiased or an unconscious biased lens of let's go hire women or men. It's about getting the right talent. While I agree with Meghna that it's impossible to believe whether you can't find a woman or you can't find a one woman for your team. The challenge is that there are less finance professionals who want to build their careers in private equities for their own reasons. But if there is the right talent available, I don't think there's dearth of opportunities. And no private equity goes out to say we are only looking for men. I don't know of any.
No, but I think, Charu, maybe to disagree with you a little bit, I do feel that there is a natural pool which is more male centric, which ends up,
Correct.
right? But if you make the call to at least broaden your pool and get more women to apply, or even ask for more CVs which are more women, and just create a big enough pool which is equal men, equal women, that at least increases the probability of you finding the right, women talent. I think you have to force recruiting firms, you have to go after more recruiting firms, you have to go and, search a little bit harder maybe, because obviously from investment banking or, consulting firms or whichever the feeder organizations are, there also there is a, talent mismatch. I mean, a diversity mismatch. So it really starts there. But I do feel like some extra effort needs to be made for sure.
I'm just saying that there is less pool, therefore you see less CVs. But yeah, you have to just work harder to get that lesser CVs to come to you.
Yeah, and make that effort for sure. I mean, I would, because if you went the normal route and you will get 80% men, 20% women, it'll always stay the same. So you have to maybe work harder and make sure in that 20% you expand it or whatever, just you find the right person for yourself, and try to bottom up build out your team in a way that, over time this changes.
Yeah.
So some effort needs to be there from the firm. It can't be like status quo won't help. I at least I think.
And you have to also break the barriers of what hiring managers have in their head, that there are only men who can, who are there and can do the job. So if we don't find a infrastructure investing women we don't have a larger pool, we try and get at least at analyst and associate level people from private equity or fixed income across asset classes. So if you are just sticking yourself to the only infrastructure women I'm going to bring, that doesn't help. You have to open up channels. You have to really, be more reachable to people for them to think that, oh, you need to have good technical skills, modeling and, right number crunching skills, and have the right attitude to do the job and a high pressure job. And then you're there. So you have to really open up and force the hiring manager also at times. I won't say that you don't have to make an effort. Even internally, we have to put pressure on getting diverse talent.
So no, I absolutely agree, Poonam. And by the way, I'm seeing some questions on the chat. But maybe in the meantime, I can take one or two of these because they're very similar. They're saying, people from non-profit consulting or social impact or they're not a part of the industry, how do you break into it? See, unfortunately, there are some feeder organizations and feeder industries. Two of them, as you all know, is consulting and investment banking. And it's really because the skills that you learn while doing those prepare you for the job here. I think investing is a mix of those two. In IB, you learn modeling, finance, all the hard stuff around numbers, and in consulting, you learn about market, industry, and all of that. And the mix of that makes you a good investment professional. So you could pick something from someone from consulting, teach them the finance stuff, or you could pick someone from finance and they can pick up the thinking or the market and industry perspective. If you take someone who has not done either of the two, I think the learning curve is just too steep for that person also to be able to learn and be successful in this industry. And there are probably 2 or 3 people that you hire every year. So you also don't want to go wrong with that. So that's why I think it exists in that way. So the best way of getting into the industry is to actually work in one of these two types of organizations, because they will kind of teach you the skills that are needed to be a part of this. Like, you can't make someone the CEO of a company if they've not worked in that company for, well, maybe in some cases, but HUL will make someone the CEO after they've worked there for 40 years, because everything you've learned along the way enables you to be the CEO. Similarly, you have to be a part of some of these organizations to learn the skills which eventually will make you successful and be able to do this job also. So I would say that if you are looking to break into it, I think the first step would be to, join an investment banking firm or a consulting firm, and they take enough people laterally or, at the entry point in their career. And that becomes the feeder pool into PE. And there are oft times some, like I had done PE before, but I was a startup founder. So nowadays, you do go after some non-traditional profiles, like someone who may have started up their own company. People from VCs certainly like people with operating backgrounds. We at Chris Capital also like it. So some private equity firms may like that. But you would have had to do something like that, which is, again, high performance and probably teaches you a lot of skills that could also be valuable. And then maybe you bring that consulting mindset because you did your own thing or something like that. And the finance stuff could be something that could be taught by the organization. So sometimes people may make an exception like that. But obviously you have to prove it with the skills that you've built in whatever it is that you have done. Poonam, Charu, I don't know if you have a different perspective here.
Same. Covered it all.
I think one very interesting question that I can see on the chat box is, for someone coming from a smaller or lesser known firm, what are some profile building elements of behavioral traits that can help ensure that they're not overlooked due to perceived cultural mismatch at recognized firms?
I can answer that. Probably it's about what technical skills you're carrying, even if you're coming from a smaller fund or industry like corporate M&A or something. We have various ways to analyze whether you can do the job or not. So we have case studies, we have in-depth interviews, debriefing of case studies, what you know. So if you really prove yourself in those rounds, I think then there is no discrimination of where you're coming from. We prioritize candidates from big funds or similar pension funds or institutional investors or PEVC, but we also consider the credentials that a person is carrying. So his or her MBA, or where is it? Where is the studies being done? What has he done in internships? How much would he know about modeling? So all that is assessed during the various stages of the interview. So that's not something which we focus on.
Move to the lucky draw series, the thing of this series now. Okay, we are starting it now. We have our first one, Prisha Saxena.
Congratulations.
Please raise your virtual hand to show you're here. That's one of the most important part of the lucky draw.
Hi, I can't see the option, but I'm here. Hi.
Moving on to the second name. Moksha Jain, please let us know that you're here.
Mhm.
I think she's not here. Then we'll have to move on to the next name. Manvi Kamboj, are you here? Please let us know.
Yeah, Ankit, I'm here.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mitali Srivastav, are you here?
Hey, Ankita, yes.
Congratulations. Jahnavi Bodhe,
Hi, Ankita, I'm here. Am I audible?
yes.
Thanks a lot.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Vinita,
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm here.
hi Vinita, congratulations.
Thank you.
Ayushi Meena,
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah,
congratulations Ayushi.
thank you.
Pratiti Das Gupta,
Yeah, I'm here.
Mrunmayee,
Yes, hi, I'm here. Thank
hi,
you.
congratulations. One last to go, I think. Aishwarya Dutt,
Yes, I'm here.
congratulations.
Thank you very much.
What do the lucky draw people get, Ankita?
A chance to share their CVs with the panelists, and so that they can refine their CVs in a way that it's appropriate for the PVC industry. So first-hand feedback.
Okay, okay, sure.
I think we're gonna have one more call for Moksha since she's not here. So one last spin.
Sure. No, I was saying if anyone else also wants to share, it's okay.
Moksha, are you here? She's not here, so we're gonna spin one last time for her. Hina Verma,
Yes, I'm here.
congratulations. Do we have 10 finalists? Yes, we do have. We have 10 finalists. 10. Okay, we're removing Moksha Jain. So Prisha, Manvi, Mitali, Janvi, Vinita, Ayushi, Pratiti, Mrunmay, Aishwarya, and Hina Verma. Congratulations, all of you, for winning the lucky draw. We'll email you with more details. You get a chance to showcase your CVs with our expert panelists and get first-hand feedback. But yes, you will also have to attend all 3 sessions to receive the feedback because you'll get the feedback only at the end of the third session. Okay, so would you like to take any more questions? Or should we head on and end it now?
I was just saying, in the spirit of diversity, if anyone else also wants to, mail their CVs, at least I'm at meghna@chriscapital.com. So you can, maybe share a note and I can happy to take a look.
Thank you, Meghna. Would you like us to share your email IDs with the participants?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Thank you so much.
I'm good as well, Ankita. You can share mine as well.
Thank you, Charu.
Yeah, and mine too, please.
Thank you, Poonam.
All right.
All right. Thanks,
So,
everybody.
Lucky draw.
Ankita,
Yes, Nupur.
sorry to interrupt. I just got a private message from Moksha saying,
She's
sorry, there
there.
were some network issues and there was a power cut. So maybe we can go with 11 shortlists.
Yeah, because we cannot remove the ones who showed their hands now.
Yes.
So we have 11 winners for the
That's
lucky
fine.
draw.
All right.
All right, now moving on. Thank you, everyone. Sorry?
No, I say thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Meghna. Thank you, Charu. Thank you, Poonam. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We hope you found the session really helpful and insightful. I did. Thank you to our speakers for such an insightful session. Requesting everyone to share your key takeaways if you want to of this session over social media with the hashtags. And if you do, please use the hashtags #Winpe and #WinpeIgnite. And don't forget to tag Winpe. Now, the Winpe Ignite online sessions are also, all the other past sessions are also available on YouTube. So for those of you who've actually missed the past sessions, you can catch them up on YouTube. We've shared the link on the chat box below. We'll also share it on the emails with you. One last very important bit is CV feedbacks and mock interviews participation are only available to those who attend all the 3 sessions. We have the other 2 sessions coming up the next Saturday and the next, so which is 26th July and 2nd of August. Once again, reminding everyone to join the Winpe Ignite WhatsApp group to keep yourself updated on more such sessions, job openings, and masterclasses, and also join the Winpe database. Which the Winpe Ignite is, trying to build a female talent pipeline for the PEVC industries. This will give the PEVC industries a chance to diversify their portfolio, their profile repositories as well. And I will share the link of the profile repository on our WhatsApp groups and on the chat box. So thank you, everyone. See you, everyone, for the next session on 26th of July, Saturday.
Thank you. Thanks for this, Ankita. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, Charu. It was lovely chatting with Charu, Poonam, Meghna, all 3 of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ankita. Very well hosted.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye, everyone.